welcome to episode 56 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Shawnee G. Sean Galbraith. Shawnee G, how you doing? What you been up to since our last episode? We actually can finally see grass outside for the first time in a while. It's been lovely.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I've been doing great, Robbie. Thanks. I was out at King's Forest last weekend on Saturday taking pictures of the pro and advanced divisions rounds. Had a great time, watched some great play, and looks like it was a fantastic event. I know we're going to be talking about it a little bit later, but that's it. Still haven't gotten out to do any of the actual playing. Unfortunately had to drop from the Toronto Open this weekend, and I'll be volunteering there on Saturday, but looking forward to the White Spruce Open in a couple, or the White Spruce Winter Thaw in a couple weeks. How about you?
Yeah, I can't wait for the winter thaw. That will be my first event as well. And I'm itching to get the tournament season back going. I want to get out there. I want to compete. I want to see a bunch of the people that I haven't seen all winter while I've been in disc golf hibernation, and I haven't even touched a disc in probably like 4 months at this time, other than the occasional putter that I'll touch and go to putting league. But actually throwing like a mid-range or a driver of any sort, I have not done any of that. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Although it seems like this bit of double-digit temperatures in the positives that we've had for the last couple of days are going to be leaving us for a little while. But hopefully it doesn't bring too much snow or anything. Little leftover of winter that we're inevitable to have here in Canada. But other than that, I haven't been doing very much, so not much to talk about. We can jump right on in. You'll see our third co-host will jump in this interview that we have coming up. Galen, you just never know when Galen's gonna pop his face into an episode. We should start like taking bets on it. I don't know what the odds we'd give on will Galen make an appearance in this episode, yes or no. I don't know what the over under would be, but we'll have to figure it out. But you'll see him in this interview as we throw it on over, and excited to bring in somebody that just had a great weekend at King's Forest. Speaking of King's Forest, took down a win in MA40 and also had a pretty eventful offseason, announcing a new disc golf retail shop in the Niagara region, which we are very excited to talk about. So let's jump over into that interview right now. We will be right back on Missed Mando.
Our next guest joined the PDGA in 2022, played in 3 events, and then took 2023 and 2024 off, and returned to competition in 2025, including 3 tournaments in MPO. Last weekend, as we're recording this, he shot his first 1,000 rated tournament round en route to his first tournament win in MA40 at the King's Forest Open. And if that's not enough, in early February, he also announced Primal Disc Golf, a new retailer based out of St. Catharines, Ontario. We are very excited to welcome to the Miss Mando podcast, Chris Kotyk. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
It's our pleasure. And as we like to do with first-time guests on the pod, let's throw things back to the start of your disc golf journey, man. When did you first discover the sport, and who or what got you interested in disc golf?
Man, that's a good question. To be honest, I used to be an athlete. I played semi-pro football, and I had a career-ending injury. And from that day, kind of things went downhill, health-wise with me. And in the year that I started, I don't even remember. You probably know more info on it than I do, off the top of the head. But I was in the hospital at 30-something years old, thinking that I had a heart attack. They couldn't figure out what it was, and it was around the time of COVID, I think. However, that being said, my doctor told me I had to be more active. And I had just started seeing on television, like on YouTube and stuff. I was always fascinated with like hand-eye coordination sports. We used to have family reunions, and I could always throw the frisbee the furthest. You know, it was always one of those things to throw a frisbee. I kind of was addicted to the flight of it already, just how they glide through the air. But trying to find someone that you could throw a frisbee with is like nails on a chalkboard. You know, like most people can't even throw a frisbee. So, uh, doctors saying I needed to be more active. I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I'm like, I golfed competitively at the time, actually, like ball golf, and I was doing the Niagara Men's Tour, and then doing that, and I had crushed my back doing that, so I couldn't do that anymore. So it's just in the recovery of that. My doctor's saying I had to be more healthy. I'm overweight, and I was almost 300 pounds, and not in the best shape of my life. So I was like walking for fun. No thanks. So I decided, um disc golf would be something fun to try out. I was watching it on I saw the James Conrad holy shot and stuff like that, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this. So I went to my local guy here, bought 3 premium discs because I always go balls to the wall, all or nothing. I'm not gonna try and buy entry level stuff. I don't want to buy a bunch of times, right? So bought 3 brand new discs. But keep in mind, at this point in time, I had already watched like 100 hours on YouTube, and like thought I already knew the mechanics and everything of what disc golf was, right? So basically, I went down to Centennial and St. Catharines with my 3 new discs and proceeded to throw all 3 of them into the creek. Um, and from from that time moving forward, I was like challenge accepted, you know, and I started progressing super super fast, to the point where like I signed up for like leagues and stuff like that, like my local club stuff here, and it was winning every week because my handicap was so low, and it was just like bam 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 every week. I was shaving 5-10 strokes, right? So um that happened, and that's basically what brought me into to the start of disc golf.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like my start was very similar. I just started to pay attention to disc golf after the first COVID wave started. So my buddy Brad Sharp messaged me one day just a photo of a disc golf basket, and he's like, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And I was like, "Yes, I do," because I had played like 10 years prior when I was a teenager out in BC. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to know the one thing we're allowed to do right now? We can play disc golf. Do you want to come and find a course?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So between like that and like the like next sort of big wave, like I feel like I spent more time watching than I
Right.
did getting out. So I'd watch like every local tournament, like all the Jomez stuff before I got out, and I was like, yeah, I feel like I know exactly what the hell I'm doing. And then I got out and like very did not at all. No, but I love hearing that, man. So when you first got out, like here's something that was kind of interesting to me is because I of when and how I started watching, I was watching all of the again players on like Jomez, all the big channels, whatever, and the players on like the little like True North channel, like Canadian Disc
Yep.
Golf Productions,
Same.
and for me, there was no difference between like Paul Macbeth and Chris O'Zollins or Colleen
Right.
McInnes and Kristen Tatar. I was like, these are all people that are on my living room TV that I'm watching
Right.
play this game like crazy. How was it for you starting to meet some of those people in the disc golf community after you were watching all that tape at home?
It was amazing. I'll tell you a cool kind of story, and to this day, I might end up playing against the guy this year, which is kind of ironic. And when you first get into it and you see all these names, I was watching Justin Murphy on coverage, and right after I had watched that, I was down at Fireman's again. I forgot to mention the whole doctor thing, and the hard thing is the health and the active and the hiking and the walking helped me lose so much weight. I was able to, take something competitively in sports again, which I thought was over for me. But anyhow, I'm at Fireman's, and I see this guy walking around like lost a little bit, right? He's by himself, but I seen the red shoes. And as I got a little closer, I see the Murphy on his arm, his PDGA number. And I think he was coming up to hole 10 going into 11 going, "Hey, man, do you know?" I said, "You look a little bit lost. You all right?" And he's like, "Do you know where the next hole is?" He was actually down for, I think, a hockey tournament or something like that. "You know where the next hole is?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'd be glad to show you." He's like, "Yeah, you want to shoot around with me?" I said, "Sure." So we proceeded to shoot the round. At this time, I had the ugliest form you could ever look at in your life. I was choppy, finishing like this. And 17A is a water carry, and I'm throwing a wraith. right? And after playing with him, he goes, "It's a putter, man. Why don't you throw a putter? You got tons of power." And I was scared. I was throwing rates because I knew I could get them across the water, right? So I didn't know putters would even fly that far, you know? So long story short is I had a Nomad in my bag. He's like, "Throw it." And I was so scared to lose it. I was like, didn't have a lot of money. I only had 5 or 6 discs in my bag. And he's like, "You just got to, believe in yourself and trust that you can do it." And I put it off the pole, landed in perfectly. And so that was my first experience. So like watching these guys, I'm like watching them in coverage, and I'm like, hey, with time and dedication, I think this is something that I can, take. And I still don't think the beginning was me way over exaggerating that, and I jumped into MPO and I had absolutely no business being there. I should have still been in MA3, and I just said, I can do this, and I was over. I thought it was great. I thought it was so good. And as soon as I traveled outside of Niagara or gone into a tournament atmosphere, it was like, my body forgot how to play disc golf. Tournament nerves are real, people. Don't let anyone tell you they're not, because they are. And just now, I think I'm at a point in my game where, they don't play so much of a role for me. And I've accepted where I'm at. And, I don't really come up with expectations anymore. I just practice and play to where I think I can play, right? And, progress as I'm ready. I wanted to skip the line, right? I wanted to be first in line and skip right to the top. And that's not the way this game works. So
It's
thankfully,
not
the
not the
community,
way most games work.
right. Absolutely.
So, I mean, you sound like a pretty competitive guy by nature.
Yeah.
Um, and that you obviously you came from a competitive sports background. Is disc golf like the main outlet for that for you these days?
Absolutely. It's the only outlet. I used to be the scatterbrain. They call me the guy that like has 10 million hobbies. What are you doing this month? What are you doing this?
Yeah.
I played the pro paintball. I played for a milsim team. I've, done some pro fishing tournaments. Like there's all sorts. I've put my hand in everything. I think it's part of my competitive nature is like, I wanted to see whatever I do, how far I can actually take it. And I think this is one of the few things that I've actually stuck with and said, you know what, I'm willing to put my time in and really, really see how far I can take the sport. So I'm taking it really seriously this year. And at the same time, trying to grow the sport along the way.
What does taking it really seriously look like to you?
I take the time to make sure that I'm getting around it almost every day. When it comes to like putting and actually putting the work in to be consistent, because the biggest to me issue, well, one, I think putting is the most important part of disc golf, and you'll know because you'll
Putt
if
for
you played
dough.
with me, you'll know that I can be wild off the tee sometimes, right? And the game is constantly changing. As you get better, discs don't fly the same. As you get worse, as you change things, everything changes. Your discs are constantly changing. The wind, the variables, the nerves, you name it. So the more consistent you can be, the better chance you have. And the mental game is such a big part of disc golf. And I think that in order for me to be successful, and so far this year, happy with how I've been performing, I had to have a real mental game change and not have expectations and not beat myself up and not put pressure on myself. Just go out, have fun, and remember that this is a sport that I fell in love with was not even for the competition. It was because you saw that first S bend, or you saw that first turnover, or you made that first throw in. I'm still like, it's like a video game that doesn't have an end game. There is no end game. Like there's always something new you can learn or invent or figure out, right?
Yeah, one of the first things that really blew my mind was the first time that I realized that there wasn't just one line to like get to the basket on every hole. I don't remember the like exactly where I was in the world, but the first time I was like, oh, this isn't like just a backhand hyzer. I could like force a forehand, or I could like
Right.
throw a forehand roller. I was like, whoa, like my everything explodes in your brain, and like still to this day, like you're figuring out new ways to attack holes you've played
Mhm.
100 times. I know I am anyway.
Yep.
So you talked about a couple different ways, like being pretty competitive, playing sports at a professional level, pretty consistently through your life. How quickly after first starting disc golf did you decide that you wanted to start playing like competitive tournaments? And when you did, what is it that hooked you? Was it just sort of that same kind of competitive drive that's in you for everything else, or was there something special about disc golf that you were like, oh, this is something different and special that I'm gonna get locked into?
I felt like when I saw, first of all, the first thing, and I hope none of these guys take offense to any of this, but the first thing I saw was, hey man, how are these skinny guys with zero muscle mass throwing 500 feet? That was the first thing I saw, and not talking about anyone specifically, but go look at the best players in the world. You know what I
Seeing
mean?
Paige Pierce throw at 450 is
Or the
incredible.
small ones, yeah, the
Yeah.
tiny ones, right? You're like, how? And then I realized, it's about form. It's not about power. But if you can get both, I'm like, hey, I'm a big boy. You know what I mean? I'm a 250-pound man. If I could get that form right, why can't I hang with those guys? What do I have to do to get to that level? But that wasn't the addiction. It was that almost the atmosphere and the community that did it for me. One, there's two sides to every community, but for the most part, everyone that I've introduced to the sport has been like, man, I can't believe how amazing the disc golf community is. Everybody, for the most part, wants to help everybody and grow the sport because we're behind the states. I think 7 years behind the states. They're 7 years behind Europe. So it's like we're constantly catching up, and this sport's been around for so long, no one knew about it. Now you can get full scholarships, sponsorships. There's money in it, and that's not what drives me at all whatsoever. But I'm definitely very passionate about it. It was the atmosphere, that tournament vibe. I love it. You see, like when you go to a tournament and the white stakes are lining all the fairways, you go to a course like Hope Goat or Project 15. Every course is different. It's free. I wouldn't have been able to play disc golf as much as I can if there weren't free to play courses. Golf these days is astronomically expensive. A driver brand new costs $800. Well, a driver here costs $30 brand new. So like it's affordable. And I think that's what kept me being able to stay in it. And if we actually kept track of how many discs we've actually lost, we'd probably cry. You know? So but yeah, the tournament atmosphere, the flashing lights, the boxes around the things, it's just a totally different vibe and experience, and I love it.
Uh, the vibe and the experience, I completely agree. It's totally different. It's so much fun. The tournament atmosphere, the that even though you're playing against other players, it's still very much a community vibe most of the time with most people.
Hmm.
It's I don't know about unique in sports, but it's very special about the sport.
It is. You can be
Yeah,
competing against someone on the same card, and for the most part, like, and I'm not just talking about like the USDG pros. Those guys all going out for beers after. Those
sure,
guys are
absolutely.
how you see them mess around on film sometimes, but it's like yes, you take it seriously, and when you're playing for money, it's a different ball game, right? But at the end of the day, the camaraderie is real. It's you meet the same people at most of the tournaments. You're going to see a lot of the same faces. You're going to see new players, and I mean unless you got the guy that's in last place that's trying to call fouls and faults on everyone for no reason. You're always going to run into one bad apple that will kind of can throw a round off for you, but other than that, like I feel like the disc golf community is like no other, in a sense of how everyone comes together.
And you got to play with some great ones on the weekend. You are coming off your first win at the King's Forest Open. Huge congratulations. You also shot your first in tournament 1,000 rated round. How you feeling about that? I see the trophy behind you,
Yeah.
the fish there. That's so sick. And
Right.
what did you feel was clicking out there?
Honestly, I feel that it might sound lame, but I feel that I was not well. I didn't have to be well prepared mentally because I knew that I was taking the time. I've been shoveling the tee pads and playing disc golf all winter long. 3 feet of snow, minus 20, minus whatever. I was out there putting in the work, playing every day. Every day, I mean. Like I got a group of guys we all play together. We're playing for tags tomorrow. It's called Gorilla Gang, right? Just a little fun group I made. As you can see, we got the Gorilla Gang merch, right?
Love
But
it.
yeah, we got a group of guys that are just we play all the time, and I'm constantly working on my game. And the running joke is I got a message tonight saying, hey, no throwing seconds at tags. So when I came into this tournament, I felt like my game plan is, hey, play smart. Every shot is a new shot. um don't put any stress on yourself. So I started setting lesser goals for myself. And I think that's what really I said, you know what? Here's what you can do. I've shot 1,000 rated rounds, and I used to put all the stress on myself, like, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that. And actually, Colleen is one of the ones that gave me this tip. And she said, stop saying, oh, I got to make this shot, and start saying, it'd be cool if I made this shot. But if I don't, I'll get the next one, right? Don't
the
put that
pressure off.
pressure on yourself. So not having that pressure, and not setting unrealistic goals, just like jumping into MPO when you should be playing MA3, right? Thinking that you're better than you really are. Disc golf has humbled me. It really has over the last couple of years. Like, this is the first year that I've played. I probably have 2 years in total of disc golf playtime, and this is the first year I've played an entire fiscal year. So, that being said, I came into this tournament with the expectations of, hey, don't worry about who you got to beat or whatever else. Worry about playing your own game, because in MPO, my biggest fault was trying to follow the vapor trails of guys that were throwing 500 feet when I could barely throw 350 at the time. You know what I mean? And it wasn't working my form. I was just struggling, couldn't find inbounds to save my life ever, and constantly switching discs up all the time because, I always want to try the next best thing and see if that's going to do it for me. But I stopped doing that. I set goals like, hey, let's focus on play above your rating, right? That's one of my goals when I go into a tournament. I say try and play above your rating, because I do think that I do think that's a goal, and do your best to win one of your cards. So even if you don't win the first one, try and win the second one. You know what I mean? And if you don't, it's not that big a deal. Look, I shot 1,000 rated this weekend from the mids, and then played the shorts and shot an 881. Yeah, there's a funny story behind that one, but not going to blame it on the umbrella. But I'm just saying it was a fact.
We'll get to that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
We'll get.
Yeah. But yeah,
So-
just not setting big expectations. That's it. That's the end of it.
Yeah, we'll get to the umbrella and
Okay.
on route there. I want you to take me through your weekend a little bit. So you had an 8-stroke lead after round one.
Yeah.
You finished with a 3-stroke lead. I was playing the same day too, so I know weather was a factor. First it started pouring rain, then there was an awful lot of wind. In the morning it was nice and toasty. Tell us the story of the tournament for you. What was your day like?
Day was great. Showed up in the morning on like the most beautiful day we've had all year. Right. I'm feeling confident. I've been coming out to league there, playing the doubles there. So, I shot some pretty good rounds while I was doing that. So, I was confident in my ability to play that course. I kind of knew discs and distances. It wasn't like going to a fresh course without having a practice round. So I was progressively getting better there. And I kind of knew, like, on a bad day, this is around where you're going to be. On a good day, this is around where you're going to be. And just do your best and don't put too much stress on yourself. So we started off. I was just excited to be there. I love when I show up, everyone's there. Oz is giving the speech, and we're going through all the holes and what changes have been made. That was cool. I actually really liked the way that the new holes played. It brought a new excitement, I guess, to the tournament, because I was like, ooh, right before we're gonna have these new holes and this and that. And that was the challenge, is hole 3 and 4. I got to throw hole 3, didn't even get to throw hole 4. And I was like, oh man, I think I threw 8 shots before I put one on the green. So yeah.
I didn't play either of those. I didn't even know, to like look behind the curtain for me. I didn't even know that was an option. I knew that we were maybe not going to play regular 3 and 4. I didn't know there was a backup 3 and 4. I thought we were going to play 2 holes down. So I got there. He's like, yeah, so hole 3, like the rough is hazard. Now, what are you talking about? What rough is there on hole 3? What the fuck is going on?
Right.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to
No
get you off track, but please.
No worries. So yeah, we start off the round, and I'm playing well, and I know that I actually tell my caddy. I had a caddy, so this is what a big thing for me. I've noticed that whenever I bring a caddy, I'm a scatterbrain. My brain is all over the place at all times. I'm thinking of things that are not relevant. I'm just all over the place. And when I'm locked in, joke is a buddy of mine that comes out. He's pretty new, and we were tied at our local course the other day, and he goes, if I beat you, I'm never gonna let you live it down. And the guy who caddied for me, my buddy Josh Lynch, he goes, what's wrong with you, man? He goes, if you want to beat this guy, you don't ever get competitive with him because now he's going to get quiet. He's going to lock in and we're all screwed. Right. So, and I thought that was kind of funny because I need that. I need having a caddy is a big deal. One, you're not picking up a bag, putting it down. All I got to think of, you're walking up, you're looking at the shot, you got the rangefinder out, you know. I felt prepared in the sense of like, you know, I had my chalk bags, I had my rangefinder, I had all the everything that I could have that could make my day as easy as it could possibly go. I have a caddy carrying my bag, and honestly, just a good friend to keep me level headed. Right. So super important. I always tell whoever's caddying for me, I don't want to see the scorecard. Don't tell me unless you need to tell me. If it's going that bad, you know what I mean? But if I personally, I played the game. I played my game, took the birdies where I could, and you know, I felt good about it. And then after 9, I got an update. And not even after 9, I think it was like even later than that. And I think I had like 4 holes left to play. I still didn't know the score. I knew that there could be changes. But as I was coming off of the 18th hole, I got a call from a buddy and he goes, dude, 8-stroke lead? And I'm like, what? I didn't even know. I hadn't even checked the scores yet. Like I had no idea what was going on. So, you know, that was awesome. It definitely, this is the biggest humbling factor in this tournament for me. I've never been in a position before where I had a lead, especially a lead like that. And what do I do with myself now? So I've been in a position that I've never been in, and the mental game kicked my ass again, partially because I went in and I went, okay, I'm just gonna play safe now. My caddy told me 3 holes in, he's like, buddy, you still gotta try. That's what he was saying to me. He's like, you're still gonna try. He's like, and then as things progressed, I now know I'm not doing well. I'm on the lead card. This guy's getting birdies. I'm getting bogeys, doubles. I'm like, okay, I gotta check the score now. And then that all went out the window. I checked the scorecard. And I think on the 9th hole, it was just Justin Wilson, I think his name was giving me a run for my money, man. And I checked the scorecard and my 8-stroke deficit had turned into 3 with like 9 holes left. I'm like, I'm gonna choke it. That's what I said. I'm gonna choke it. I'm like, if I don't win this tournament, now I'm in my head. That's why the mental soul. Now I'm in my head going, you know, I'm gonna be so disappointed in myself if I don't take this down now. I'm like, what do I gotta do to get out of my head? And my caddy says, hey man, just be you. Just do what you do. Lock in like you're doing at home. You handle pressure well. You just don't know how to handle this kind of pressure because you've never been there. And I actually had a friend, Eric Conlon, who was on my card. And I'm like, he could see me going, like the wheels turning in my head. And he goes, listen, man. And this is where the camaraderie is so amazing. He goes, listen, bro, he goes, I'm not normally into giving tips to my competition. He goes, but bro, he goes, you didn't get here playing like that, playing safe, throwing safe shots. He said, you got there by stepping on the gas and playing like you can. He goes, look at the lead that you had. He goes, or the lead you have, because this was early on in the round. He goes, I'm telling you right now, he goes, if I were you, I would put my foot on the gas. And I remembered at lunchtime, Andrew Leland had actually said the same thing to me. He goes, all right, here's where you put your foot on the gas. And instead, I did the complete opposite, and put myself in a terrible position. So learning how to deal with that type of situation was super humbling for me. And I think it better prepared me. Not, I won't say negative, but everything that happens is a lesson, right? Like, how do you react to situations? And I think, you know, I didn't know how, and it was almost my demise. So
How do you find the pressure of, you know, being in the lead in disc golf compared to the pressure that you felt in other sports that you excelled in?
being in the lead,
Yeah,
most
like
sports,
you
in
said
my
you
opinion,
experienced
yeah.
a different kind of pressure
Yeah. So I've been
this
in the lead
weekend.
plenty of times, but I'll tell you right now, in most other sports and like my family background, like I got, I think 7 cousins that play NLL pro lacrosse, you know, Bandits, Toronto Rock, whatever. Like there's a lot of professional athletes.
Mhm.
I know what winning feels like. But in most other sports, I will say this is where disc golf really differs. Normally when you have a commanding lead, you know, you're like, all right, I can take my foot off the gas because, you know, just for the sake of, you know, not embarrassing other teams or whatever. Like I coach as well. I coach high school football, and I was like, all right, cool, man. Like you can. There's a very clear victor when you're at that level. In disc golf, one hole could be a 5-stroke difference. So 8 strokes might sound like a lot. Oh, wow, look at him go. It's really not. That could change in 2 holes. A triple bogey and a birdie is 5 strokes. So that's 1 hole. You got 18 of them. So I just realized that, you can't really change up the game plan. You just gotta, playing safe was not the answer. Playing the way you know how to play. You didn't get there by playing safe. You got there by playing. What do you train for? Why do you make those 100, 200, 500 putts a day, 1,000 putts a day? Why do you play every day? Why are you doing this if you're not going to actually take the things that you've learned and actually apply them? So again, the experience was super humbling, right?
But in the end, you took it down. So clearly, the advice that that Eric gave you, he gave you the right advice at the right time.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's again a great part of the sport. Told you to focus up, and you were able to do that, which is certainly a credit to you and your game.
Thank you. The biggest part for me, the biggest struggle was, and I think it was the biggest feat at the same time. So the biggest struggle was the biggest feat. Things, because of the wind, were not working out my way. Like everyone on my card would make the shot, and then we'd be over water, be over something. I threw OB like 4 holes in a row, where I threw what I thought, and wind slapped me down. It was the headwind, and I went down, and now I'm OB, and it was like, you can't. It's like, what do I do? I'll tell you right now, a year or 2 ago, I would have absolutely just
meltdown.
Not a meltdown, like not like a Nico Castro meltdown, but I would have actually imploded. Like,
sure,
you would have watched the wheels fall right off the wagon. It would have been over. And I think that my mental fortitude was at a level where even with all the mishaps and the bad, instead of like harping on them and analyzing it, I just said, just keep going, man. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Just don't let it get to you. Just keep playing. I mean, it is what it is.
Can't get those shots back.
No, don't hurt you're gonna hurt yourself more dwelling on things that you can't change. It's already done. So move on. And I just kept hearing all the little voices, the tips from Colleen, the tips from the tips from different people, Eric, my caddy, and hearing all the little voices. And then, you know what? I had a ton of support. My community, I got messages from people from my club at halftime after the first round, guys going, hey man, I'm proud of you. Keep it going. You're doing great. Same with when I got home. And one of them was from my cousin Donnie. And he's like, it was mid-round. I checked my phone, which I didn't have it. My caddy, I give my phone to my caddy normally, so I'm not checking my phone because I will. Right? That's just something I have a struggle with that I'm working on. But I looked, and in this message, it said, hey man, 3 holes to go. You got this. And that was all I needed. That was really all I needed, to know that I had the support. To know that other people believed in me helped my mental so much, because it wasn't me. It wasn't like people. I spent a lot of time in life where I felt like I was me against the world, So to have a feeling where people believe in you, and it's not just people you wouldn't even think, And you guys called me and said, hey, we'd love to have you on the Miss Mando podcast, man. That made me feel, it's like I'm not looking for recognition or anything. I was just happy. So this is just a bonus on top, but I do appreciate that you guys did reach out, and I'm happy to be here. And I think this last year of disc golf for me has been the best mental place that I've ever been in, and it's only getting better.
That's great, because disc golf can absolutely destroy your mental state.
Hey, best believe, even on my practice rounds, if you hear a lion roaring in the forest, in the woods, it's me going, or frustration. That's when I let it out, when I'm by myself and whatever else. But yeah, it's definitely a frustrating game.
So had you played in wind like that before in a tournament? Because it was second round. It got pretty windy.
And it wasn't constant.
No.
It was like you'd throw.
Or predictable.
I watched a putt from I think his name was Justin Wilson, I believe. I had a putt, watched him from 3 feet away. The putt went up, hovered in front of the basket for like 2 seconds, and then it looked like a ghost grabbed it and slammed it off the band and flung it away. I was like, I watched 3 putts from 4 feet. Like, it was no joke. It was like, the expectation was like, who knows what's going to happen. I watched the most wild disc play, like ground play, rollaways. I threw a little touchy forehand with a zone that literally hit the ground, wind lifted up off the ground, and flung it OB in the wrong direction, the other complete other direction. Like it was like this could literally be anybody's game. I've never played in wind like that
Truly.
in a tournament atmosphere in my life. It was definitely a game changer.
Yeah, learning how to play in wind when you haven't experienced it before, it's definitely it definitely an eye opener. You know, having to use discs differently, not being able to rely on shots that you totally were comfortable with in round one. Um, I was out there taking pictures, as you know, and I saw Colleen, and she had one putt on hole 2, and it like hit the rim, and it was falling out, and the wind just pushed it right back in the basket.
Yeah, nice.
I saw Paul Sobalski on the long one where it ends with the little river crossing.
Yep.
He threw a disc that shouldn't turn over. It turned over, bounced off the side of the bridge, and landed in circle 1.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy out there. Discs were going over the place.
There was no way to tell what was going to happen. It was like when this disc hits the ground, for the most part, in the morning was a little bit windy, but I just threw stable. You know, throw stuff you can rely on. But even bigger factor was the swirling winds. It wasn't like constant wind in one direction. So one guy would tee off, you get a wind read from him, you pick up your best disc, and like I love playing in the wind. I don't say no to monsoons, rain
Wind
days.
golf is fun golf. It's chaos golf.
Because that's where you get your edge in tournaments, in my opinion. If you've never played in wind, you're doomed. Now, this wind was a whole different wind, but it was swirling. So one guy would tee off, they'd get a wind lift, headwind, a little bit of turnover. I'm now throwing stable, and you know, my Halo Destroyer turns into a 70 kilometer an hour tailwind, and now I'm on the next hole. So it was, you know, and I'm throwing it with hyzer because I'm trying to flip it up, and I'm thinking the wind's gonna burn even that over. And you know, next thing you know, again, your OB or whatever else. And I had shots that came out of my hand, and I was like, "Whoa, that was the wrong disc to throw." Instantly. Yeah.
I know that very well. But I have that problem when it's like perfectly calm, and I'm trying to putt. I'm like, oh, well, that didn't work. Now, when I saw you out there, I remember something about an umbrella.
Yeah.
Tell me the umbrella story.
When I met you out there, I was like, "Can you get a picture of this thing?" Right?
Yes.
So
you and your umbrella.
me and this damn
Might be the only
I'm
one of the
you,
few pictures I got of you. Just you and this
I will
umbrella.
never. I'll tell you right now. After that experience, I will never bring an umbrella to an event again. I don't care how hard it's raining. I'll just play in the rain, get wet. You're gonna get wet anyways. You pick it up, you put it down. Stuff's gonna get wet. I will never. And now, like I said, I'm already scatterbrained. Okay, so we had I think the FPO card behind us, or one of the FPO cards. So I bought this $30 umbrella. I'm not gonna not bring it. My caddy had an umbrella, but I'm like, that's his umbrella, and mine's way bigger. So I was like, you know, we're not gonna both fit under his. I got mine, beautiful colors. Everyone thought we even looked at the radar. I'm absolutely shocked. We didn't really get rain until the last couple holes.
It was way better than it looked like it was going to be.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna get absolutely stomped on by the rain. So I bring this umbrella. I'm thinking, I can handle this. I gotta carry an umbrella. Now the first round, all I had to focus on was playing disc golf. That was it. Play disc golf. You got your caddy, you got whatever. Pick your mini up when you're done throwing. You know, didn't have anything else. And I think that's what helps me focus too, right? Severe ADHD case. Anyways, and OCD. Let's see. Not to like the max, but like, you know, if I see that your putter's facing the wrong way in your bag, it's gonna bother me. But anyhow, we got this umbrella from the first hole. Walk up, stick the umbrella in the hole in the ground, throw my shot, moving on. Nobody notices, especially me, until we're at least 100 yards away or 100 feet away, whatever. But the umbrella's still on the ground. The FPO card's like, "Hey, umbrella," at least 5 or 6 times. "Umbrella!" I'm like, are you kidding me? So the rest of the round, aside from me trying to play this gale force wind, figure out what discs I'm going to throw, I'm trying not to keep up with my card because I'm constantly having to run back to this stupid umbrella. I almost left it there. I was like, keep it, you know? So that was the story about the red umbrella. I didn't even use it, not once. So yeah, needless to say, there will be no more umbrella. That's when I saw you. I'm like, hey, can you get a picture of this umbrella? And I will post that later. I'll send it to you guys, whatever. I don't know if you want to insert it in there, but well, you have it already. But yeah, it was I can't say it was the umbrella's fault because it wasn't, but it definitely distracted me. It was definitely a distraction that was unnecessary that I didn't need there. So needless to say, there will be no more umbrellas.
Well, I have literally left an umbrella on a course.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
to
So
to
you
this,
understand.
yeah, to this day, I have no idea what tournament it was or what hole or anything.
Mm.
I think, I mean, if you asked me at the time, I could have told you what tournament or what day it
Yeah.
was. But like at the time, I came out with the umbrella. I had it with me for a good amount of the round. Nobody I was playing with noticed. I didn't notice. By the time we got back to the cars, I couldn't even begin to tell you where that umbrella could have been. I didn't even bother looking. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no chance that I'm ever gonna find this again. I called, I think it was a course at a club. I think I called the clubhouse or like talked to the person that ran the lost and found, and it didn't turn up. And I was like, great,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna see this again because I have no clue where
Mhm.
I left it. So I could empathize.
My
Um,
sunglasses.
oh, I'm the
Not wear
worst.
sunglasses either.
I'm the worst with
Useless.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of sensing that it might be the one that we're talking about. So if it is, I'm going to ask you to pick a second answer. But what's been your favorite tournament to date that you've played? And if it was the King's Forest Open, what's number two? And what are you looking forward to most this year?
I mean, to be honest, being in a first and foremost, obviously, this is going to be my most favorite one so far because I won it. It's my first win, my first trophy. It's my first, step in the right direction. I told myself I was going to take a step back from MPO in the high levels. I was going to start at MA 40, work my way up to MP 40, and then back up to MPO because I think I got a lot to give still. But King's Forest, yeah. I talked about this yesterday. I went and played Paris, and I talked about it on the way home. So second to tournaments that I'm would say are my favorites are not for good reasons. They're motivators. And this year, one of them, well, hold on, before we get there, Dreammaker always has a place in my heart. I think that place is freaking amazing. I want to play that this year. I think I'm scheduled or already have like 6 tournaments already registered for this year. But I'm coming back for Forest City Open and I'm coming back for Lake Ontario Open because I absolutely just I'm coming back for revenge. We're just saying that. I played so horrible. I was not prepared for what I was signing myself up for. And I feel like this is my year. This is the year I'm coming for it. I'm going to make sure that that course knows that's the old me, not the new me, you know? So, yeah, definitely Forest City Open. That's like a vendetta for me. It was like the first one where, and like I was late to the tee box on that when I got a 4-stroke penalty. I think I shot like plus 28 for that tournament. So in MPO. So like, and like
Oh no.
yeah. So like I absolutely just embarrassed myself. But I'll tell you right now, after gaining more knowledge about disc golf, and I'm watching Jomez and watching, Go Throw and watching all these different things, and I'm seeing all these people, and like these pros are shooting plus 20 sometimes too. These guys are shooting plus 15. It happens. You can't let that rattle your chain. You can't let that deter you. But I definitely was not ready to handle even on my best day, like my practice round, I shot 3 or 4 down in London at that course. But I just couldn't handle it. Mentally, I didn't have the fortitude and I wasn't ready. So, sometimes you got to take a step back to move forward. Like, what do you say in disc golf when you're learning a new mechanic or whatever you're doing? It's always 1 step back, 2 steps forward. You're going to shoot worse than the last round that you were already at before you shoot better. This is the way it goes.
I personally say buy a new frisbee. That's my personal philosophy.
Okay.
And you announced, because we are the king of segues here, you
Okay.
announced this year that you are starting Primal Disc Golf, the retail store.
Yes. Yes.
How
Yes.
long
Yes.
has that been in the works? And uh, yeah, how long? Like, what? Tell us the story of Primal Disc Golf.
I've been thinking about it. I was most happy when I owned my own business. And I still work for a living because that's not enough to support myself yet.
Sure.
Um, but the goal in mind for Primal Disc Golf was more or less we don't have much in Niagara. We do have a small retailer, but My goal with Primal Disc Golf was not to get rich or to make money. My goal was to be a bigger part and an ambassador in the community for disc golf in Niagara, and to actually use that outlet to grow the sport. And I feel like having a brick and mortar location, which we don't have yet, but we're working on it. Just finding, got to find the right place for the right money. You know what I mean? You don't want to put yourself in a position where you can't last, right? And I felt like, I've been in somewhat of an ambassador in Niagara for some time now. I have good rapport with most of the community, and I feel like who better to do it? Nobody else is, and I feel like I could do a lot of good. I'm working right now, even with the city, to try and because it's very hard to get new courses installed, but just to put single baskets in at some parks so people have practice baskets and places to throw and stuff like that at the smaller parks. But yeah, the store, it's the website is up and live. It's www.primaldiscgolf.ca. We're slowly building inventory. I have a regular job that I go to, and I make decent money at. So I basically didn't want to have a store and jump too fast into the brick and mortar just yet, but we are working on it until I knew I could sustain it without taking away from growing the inventory. We're even, except for this weekend, we're at the flea market. I go to the flea market. We have one in St. Catharines, and I set up a demo every weekend where I teach people how to putt and, show them what disc golf is. How many people walk past disc golf baskets and have no clue what it's for? So just to demo, I bring discs to sell, but I'm not there to make money. I'm not there to sell discs. I'm there to grow the demographic and to grow the people and explain to people that, hey, one, anybody can play the game. You can play for fun. You can play competitively. There's so many different sides of it. The community is amazing. And my biggest feat when I first got into the game was it's such a niche thing that if you don't know anything about it, it is super hard to get into it. And shout out to my boy Kotyk Jenks, because without him, I would have never played disc golf. I looked into it, but I knew he had already played, and he was kind of the guy that introduced me to it. And funny enough, we've only played once together. But knowing somebody or having somebody that can explain it to you is such a big difference. I had to learn everything I know on my own. I had to learn through watching. I had to learn through practice. I had to learn flight numbers and everything else, just like everyone else does. And it's such an amazing sport. And there's so many variables to it that, like, if you can't have fun playing disc golf, you can't have fun doing anything. Because throwing them up against trees with your buddies is fun too. The laughs, the jokes. So I've had so many different, experiences that weren't about the competition, that weren't about how good you could play. It was just about, hey, man, what's the biggest demographic of disc golfers for the most part? Middle-aged men? In my opinion, I think it is, right? Why? Because everyone tells us we got to get out, get healthy, be more active. And we're like, oh, okay, we can go hang out with the guys, go have some fun, throw in some plastic. And that's where it all began. And I think that, there's so many people that would play it if they knew how fun it was and what it actually was. So
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it. Yeah, I was playing AM1 at the King's Forest Open last weekend. Made the chase card, didn't wind up doing so well, but so it's like a pretty high level of competition for amateurs to be on chase card and MA1 at a pretty large tournament. And we're
mm,
like 3 or 4 holes in, and I just like get what I think is this perfect shot lined up. I get ready, my little sexton hop, drill a forehand like immediately into the first available tree. We all just burst out laughing. Like everybody sort of waits for like a half second to like see how I'm gonna react, and I just start laughing, and we
right.
all just start laughing because you got to have fun with it. And I really think disc golf is about the community, and I'm kind of sensing like, is that what made you want to jump into the retail game, to grow the local disc golf community, to bring more people into it, and show them the love?
Yes. Yes and no. It came like, as amazing as the community is, it can also be harsh in the sense of, when I first started out, I was progressing fast, and you start off playing with a group of people, and then I started beating those people, and then I stopped getting calls to come out and play disc golf. So that was part of it too. And I feel like there's a lot of people, it can be very clicky in some ways, where everyone's got their groups of people, and it's very hard for new people to feel comfortable within those groups, whether it's a club or whatever else. And like I've always been a beat up the bully, stick up for the little guy and advocate for everyone else type of guy. So I felt, that I could actually make a difference and make people feel comfortable, taking people under my wing and going, like in the last month, I've got 3 of my cousins all playing disc golf now and they're rocking. You know what I mean? And it's just 3 more people that are going to join the club, 3 more people that are going to come. And I want to so I'm talking about, starting some school programs and stuff like that. Like I'm all in right now. And I think that I've realized that disc golf is going to permanently be a big part of my life. And I've accepted that. And I was like, you know what? We're doing it. So, in any way that I can, yeah, I'm trying to grow the sport at every corner, and in every opportunity that I can. Um, like I said, for me, it's not about money. It's about sharing a passion that I have and that we all have, right? Like you guys wouldn't be doing this podcast. We wouldn't be going to these tournaments and signing up. We're gonna record. We were gonna do this interview. What did I say? I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure that there's a sign up for a tournament at 8 o'clock. I mentioned, I'm like, can we do it at 8:30? Because why else would we sit here and mash buttons to get into a tournament because 5 minutes later it's sold out? You know, we wouldn't be doing that if we didn't have the passion for the game. And it's like, I wanted to also use this outlet. I'm also, doing my tournament director. I've also applied for an executive position for Greater Niagara Disc Golf Association within my group down here. It's too bad the vote's on the 13th. So I don't know if this is posted by then, but um, if it is, hey, vote for your boy. But no, I thought that would be a great opportunity for me to bring that atmosphere of tournament golf and bring more to it. What I wanted a tournament to be, I'm like, the tournaments that you go to where you're like, man, it felt like I was Paul Macbeth at a tournament. Not because of how I played, but I felt like I was walking up, thank you, thank you. People are coming out and watching. You've got flashy signs everywhere. And I'm like, I would be willing to spend my own money to give other people that enjoyment and that experience, and then they would realize how awesome this sport is, because I don't think we have enough of it, to be honest, especially down this way. um shout out to Centennial and St. Catharines, because they've come a long way. Almost all the problems with the homeless and all the stuff that we had down there wasn't always the cleanest park. The city's come in, they've themed it a sports park now, so in case anyone doesn't knows, no, not knows, I do have grammar. um in case anyone doesn't know, they've come in, they've cleaned it up. There's no more people camping and living down there. They've cleaned up the garbage. They've took and bush hogged the sides of the water and the brush, and it's a completely different course now. So you don't have to worry about coming down there and stepping on a needle or seeing some stuff you didn't want to see. So the courses down here, we've got a lot to offer down here, and I just wanted to step in and say, all right, here, let's make some cool stuff happen. So that's in the cards for this year. I plan on hosting my first PDGA sanctioned event and league myself down here as well.
Very cool. Um, I'm curious. Sorry, to go back to the store thing.
Hmm.
How has it been establishing relationships with brands to get merchandise to sell? Like, did you have any experience in actually running a store and like the sort of retail environment? What brands are you looking to carry? Are you looking to be full service or be a little more specialized?
Yes, absolutely. So experience wise, I used to own a store. This was right before COVID hit and it kicked my ass. But I used to own an airsoft store. So I had a retail location. And with that business, I locked down global distribution or North American distribution rates for 2 of the largest companies in the world. I mean, I was
So
on
this
point.
is right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. So I was on
Fantastic.
point. I was on par at that point in my life I was making like $8 million on my first sport. It was stupid. I had the investors, everything was great. And then they kind of roped airsoft into a gun lobby. Thank you, Justin Trudeau. And I had to liquidate everything because I was paying, thousands of dollars a month for rent. So I learned a lot during that experience. And I couldn't even have people in my store because of COVID. And he was about to ban the sport that I loved, which didn't even end up happening. Long story short, lost all that, learned a lot. Every loss is a lesson in my book. So I decided that when I came back at it this way, the experience that I had from running that other business and the success that I did have there, and along with the lessons that I learned, no problem. So honestly, 90% of my sales so far has been from going rather to tournaments, seeing the people at the disc golf course, and the community around me. Message, call me, boom, I'll shoot an unboxing video up. People are like, I want this, 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 this. Now, one thing that I wanted to offer that a lot of people don't offer is custom orders. People are too busy. These business owners, I'm for the player. This was my slogan when I had my store: for the player, by the player, right? And even my answering machine, it says, "Hey, you've reached Primal Disc." Chris at Primal Disc Golf. I'm probably shooting around or I'm probably on the disc golf course right now. So if you want to leave your name and number, I'll get back to you as soon as the round's done. Like I'm trying to be in the community more than be a businessman, and I do believe that I have the business knowledge to be successful and to at least keep doing what I'm doing and grow as we go. Now, as a brand wise, um, there's a, I'm carrying right now, MVP, Axiom. I have wholesale accounts with, all the main companies so far. Uh, Bringing Hooligan in real soon because I know nobody's really selling them, but Hooligan is coming in. We have a wholesale account with them, and I'm still working on getting more. We plan to have everything. I have accounts with Innova. I've got accounts with, but I'm trying to play the smart game. And as I go and I build my inventory, I said, hey, I don't want to just build my inventory to support or take money out of the business. Every time I put in an order, it's a big order. I'm putting one with the next company, and eventually we will have all brands. If you go on the website, it pretty much shows most of the brands up there. Some of them might be a one or two might be a dead link because we haven't put in big orders with them yet, and there's minimum order quantities and whatnot. So I'm gonna say that probably by the end of this year we'll be in a position for brick and mortar. You don't want to open a store and pay rent when like you can fit $20,000 worth of discs on one wall. So you don't need a big place, and it's like you don't also want to have an empty place either. So I think that starting off slow, building with the community, and being somebody comfortable that people can talk to. Most of my orders now, I put in an order every week. I have custom orders every day. People call me and they say, hey man, can you bring this in this weight and this color or this stamp and this? And I actually will call some of my suppliers and try and find what they want, a run that doesn't exist anymore. I'll hunt it down for you. Like I'm trying to be there and give people the time of day. And I think that's what I think will separate me from, some of my competitors is that I'm not in it for the money. I'm not just in it. Oh, I'm just going to buy these new drops because that's going to sell right off the shelf. I want to make people happy. I want to be the guy that they can rely on. So when they call me, they say, man, that guy came through,
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you just totally perfectly identified our next segue, which was sort of to talk a little bit bricks and mortar. We've already done that a fair bit, so I don't want to get too much back into the tarry that you've already tread. But so maybe later this year, is that what I'm hearing that you're targeting for bricks and mortar? We're not going to hold you to it, but like in a perfect world at some point.
In a perfect world, yeah. In a perfect world, I mean, if the opportunity is there, it might even be sooner than that. It might be before the end of this year. I basically tell you this: when it's the right time, and it's something that I know will be sustainable. I know that from a business standpoint, you can't be successful by jumping in. I already proved that when I went up to MPO and when I wasn't ready to do that. So you can't get ahead of yourselves. It's good to be confident, but with the lessons learned, I know that, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right? So we're trying to be smooth out here. And when the time is right, or you never know, I might find a place next week for $500 a month for rent because I got a pretty good network. And if that's the case, cool. Yeah, we might not have the grand opening yet, but we'll have a place that, people can come and whatever else. And the goal ultimately is, because disc golf is such a big part of my life, is to have the true north, that, that big store. I've been even talking, like in the background, I've been talking to Matt Schlabach. I didn't even know who he was. Just messaging this guy on Facebook. Yeah, he's giving me tips and we're talking about it. He's like, yeah, this and that. And we're shooting the shit and everything else. And I watch him on TV caddying for Gannon Burt. You know what I mean? I messaged him. I'm like, was that you at the memorial? Yeah, caddying for Gannon Burt. He's like, yeah, man. And I'm like, oh, Baki, right? And I'm like, I didn't even know who it was at the time, right? Like, so there's so much to learn. And I guess this whole experience in disc golf is just like a never-ending adventure that is amazing. So I do plan on, as quick as I possibly can, that's what I can promise, as quick as I can possibly give the community a good brick and mortar experience, I will.
You're doing all the right things. I mean, the day that your site launched for the first time, I had my buddies in my inbox saying, "Oh, Primal Disc Golf, check it out." I saw
Yeah.
that you added James Atkinson to your team, and so I was seeing some of the like sort of posts around that and all that. And you're building
Yeah.
up your stock. It sounds like, just
Mhm.
sort of every order, sort of getting a little bit of a base built up. I'm gonna go a little off script, Sean. I'm so curious. I've been looking over your shoulder, Chris, at that white flight plate orange disc that's got all those autographs on it. I'm curious what that is by the window. But to sort of
I'll get
segue
it for
into a
you.
question is, are you looking to bring in any like kind of cool, like very niche, specific things, any rare stuff? Because it sounds like you're willing to do whatever people are looking for.
Yeah,
But is there anything you're
absolutely.
like, I gotta get
I'm
this in the
willing.
shop?
Absolutely. I want to have, so one of my ideas for the store, and hopefully, I don't care. Spoiler alert, when I do it and I get the brick and mortar, I don't care if someone does it before me, because I'm saying it right now and no one's done it yet. As my plan is to line the entire floor with discs and then epoxy over it. Like you will not see an empty spot, just discs, the whole floor, discs. You're
Oh, that'll
walking
be
over
so
all these
cool.
cool stuff, right? It's a slammer. It's a Wysocki slammer. I actually took this to the Harlem Globetrotters game, slam dunk, and I got the entire line of the 2026 Harlem Globetrotters to sign this disc.
That is so
So
cool.
I thought that was cool. That's gonna be on the wall in the shop for sure. But yeah,
Absolutely.
100%, man. Want to bring in everything. It's so much fun because there's so much variety in what it is. Flippy stuff, the crazy stuff. Look at that the new hexagon disc that just came out by Trash Panda. You know what I mean? So we bring in the Trash Panda stuff too. I think what they're doing is amazing, bringing in, or making discs out of recycled plastic. I think that's awesome. You're gonna see a lot more content from me this summer. So I'm dedicating as soon as the warmer weather is kind of here a little bit. You're gonna see the YouTube channel go nuts. I'm gonna be doing course reviews. I'm gonna be doing product reviews and just having fun. We're gonna do some challenge stuff like basically like the foundation guys and Bonanza and Jim Million, all those guys. We don't have a lot of quality disc golf content in Canada. And again, I'm one of those people who likes to like innovate or bring what's lacking. Why don't we have it? Why? And I'm not to knock any of the guys that are doing stuff. There's a lot of great stuff out there, Canadian content, but the stuff that I watch primarily comes from somewhere else. You know what I mean? The stuff that I want to see, the super exciting stuff. So I'm always been an entertainer, and anyone that knows me, if I'm being quiet, there's something wrong. Or I'm really, really focused because I like to talk, and that's one of my faults too that I'm also working on, right? So, but as you can tell,
You're it's like you're reading our script here. Like the perfect segue into what was going to be our next question was that we've seen that you've started Primal Disc Golf YouTube channel, but there's not a lot of content on there now. Um, do you? So you said kind of the stuff that you want to start posting more of. Are you? Is this something that you're going to be looking to do a little more regularly?
absolutely.
And where are, are you self-producing this? Do you have other people helping with the actual like videotaping and editing and sound and stuff like that?
Everything that I've done so far has been self-produced.
Mhm.
My wife came out and shot for me, you know what I mean? And I actually just bought some new camera equipment. I bought some tripods. I got mics. The only reason I'm not using a proper mic right now is because my phone is plugged in because it was at 11% because I fell asleep on you guys. So, or else I would have, my little YouTube mic, whatever on. But to be honest, yes. And that's the thing, as I said, each and every single one of these things that I'm trying to do, I think will all help each other. The store is going to help the YouTube's going to help this, the tournament. I want to the guys that I like watching the most are the guys that are regular human beings. I don't want to watch Dude Perfect where they just hit every shot, you know? So, but I plan on doing some really fun stuff. So stay tuned for the YouTube because I plan on doing some pretty wild, urban disc golf stuff, like some pretty wild stuff. I've got some ideas in the works for that. And yeah, just having some fun out there with some friends and making some quality content that um people can fall in love with. I wanna be someone that can make you laugh and people will enjoy watching. So one, if anyone has any ideas and stuff they want to see, I will do course reviews. I'm gonna do all sorts of stuff. We're gonna have some fun challenges on top of that. everyone knows who knows me for the most part that I'm a pretty approachable guy. I might look big and scary sometimes, but I'm most definitely a big teddy bear. I'm only scary when I have to be. And normally it's to keep the people that are in my circle or in my world safe. But other than that, the nicest guy I'll ever meet. I'll freeze so you're warm. So I just want people to understand that where I'm coming from, it's all love. And if anybody is interested, I am looking for a full-time somebody to record full-time. Someone that will come out once a week and wants to go shoot a bunch of footage. And we can talk about money and all that jazz after. But if there is anyone that's interested that's out there, I would like to be able to create content and not be worried about just toting a camera around the whole time and whatever else. I want to bring some natural some natural fun times instead of having to always worry about, oh, we got to stop and get this shot. It's not scripted. This is not a movie that we're producing. This is, some stuff that's going to be fun times that I want to be in my comfort zone and the other people that are around and involved in their comfort zone as well. So better way to do it than to have somebody dedicated to doing that kind of stuff. So if there's anyone in production that, is willing to take a shot and on a guy like me and maybe have some fun playing some disc golf and getting some stuff going, feel free to reach out.
Well, I can guarantee that you do not want to see me behind a camera. It would not be even remotely pretty. But if you ever want a mediocre MA2 907 rated Ontario disc golfer to come hang and throw some frizzies with you, I'm always happy to come out.
Let's get it.
Galen, we don't want to see you in front of a camera.
Yeah, I mean,
the camera is much preferred.
I got a face for radio. I know, I get it, Sean. But when we're watching your content on Primal Disc Golf, I imagine that one of the things we might see is you are on Team Discape as well, in addition to being the man behind Primal. So how did that partnership come about? And is there a must-bag disc that you have from them or anything you're really excited about?
For sure. Well, there's a couple new drops I'm sure that are coming out this year. Some of them I don't even know. One of them was a prototype, but to start it off, it was my first actual, I guess you would say, tournament of me coming back to disc golf. And it was a 3-disc challenge by Discape, a new Canadian company. And I always try and support local first, right? Always try and support, Canadian guy. So it was coming back after taking some time off and going through some struggles and stuff. And still was going through some struggles, but the joy of disc golf kind of came to me at the tournament. And it was a 3-disc challenge. You got a putter, a mid-range, you got the Aquarion putter, the mid-range with the Sky Turn, and I think maybe Draconics. I think it was a Draconics, their flippy driver. And I shot like 9 down or something like that. I threw basically just the putter the whole time, and I fell in love. Like if you saw any of the YouTube videos of everyone's in the background with Aquarion every time I made a putt, because I was just raving about it. But the sponsorship started when I finished my round. I came in, saw that I was probably going to take it down, and he had some prototype putters in different plastic, and they were Aquarions, but they were in new plastic. And he's like, here, try this one. And if you know Centennial Gardens in St. Catharines, there's kind of a gazebo by the garden. And then hole 18 is across the garden, like 280 feet away or something like that. 260, 280, whatever, something like that. And I'm like, he's like, oh, give it a throw. So I throw this thing from under the gazebo over the garden and ace with it. And that's kind of how the conversation started with him. And he's like, okay, this and that. And honestly, I hadn't felt a putter that felt that good in a long time. I'm not a big hyzer guy. I'm straight to the point. I like to throw straight at my target. I am working on that because I know it's a big part of my game, and same with my forehand. But I like to glide something in, elevator something down. Even putting. A lot of people, they got hyzer putts, turnover putts, floaty putts. I'm right at it, right? So that being said, yeah, I started talking to Ned, the owner of Discape, and that's when our adventure began. I don't bag all of their discs, but there are a few and in my bag is the Discape Aquarion 100%. I switch back and forth between that, the Fi and the Numa when putting and throwing, but it's a great throwing putter. I love it. I use for me, because of my arm speed, I use the Triconics as a roller disc. And I'm actually really excited. I dyed it. Where is it? So I got sent this year. It's a prototype disc by Discape. I don't know if it's even named yet. And shout out to Judge Havoc. I know he's doing a lot of stamp work for Discape this year. So Jay, you're doing awesome. I saw a sneak peek of some of the stamps that look freaking awesome. But this disc was sent to me with a note that said, "Hey, it's an 11 speed. Help us figure out the rest." So this thing has the glide of like a Saint, like a 6 glide almost. It's an 11 speed, and it flies like a Wraith, a beat-in Wraith right out of the box. Beat-in Wraith / Grace. But right out of the box, it's super awesome. I love it. The plastic feels good in your hands. It's got a nice profile. You know, it almost has the exact profile as a Wraith. Very, very similar. But yeah, that's how that came to be. I've been with them for about a year. And we were just actually having conversations about, you know, what this year was going to bring. Now, with my own business, I discussed with him, you know, I have a sponsorship with Discape, but Team Primal is you know, I have to represent my own brand as well. So as long as we could figure something out that would work for the both of us, then I was happy to continue, you know, showing my support to their company, doing some review stuff on the new discs when they come out, and you know, helping grow them as I grow myself.
Well, I hope you're ready for me to pester you next time I see you to borrow that 11 speed, because that looks friggin' sweet with that multicolored drip stamp on it. Or
Yeah,
is that a stamp or a dye job?
No, I dyed it.
Nice.
I actually just
awesome.
started dyeing discs this year, and over the winter I was like, man, I want to try and do this stuff, and I got a couple of doozies. I don't know where they're. Where's my bag? But I've got like I'm doing like some Yoda stamps. I did like some jump names on some glitches. Like I just have fun with it. Like I feel like when you throw a disc that you guide yourself, um, it doesn't fly better. Don't think it's gonna fly better. It doesn't. But you just get more satisfaction out of it. It's just like when it's laying on the ground and people are like, "Oh, look at that! That's so cool!" You know, I got one that's you know the Mario Koopa shell, the red shell. You know, it looks cool when it's flying. You see it on the ground, you're like, "That's awesome." So it's just I don't know, it just brought another more piece of fun to disc golf. You know, like I said, the realm of disc golf is there's new stuff at every corner. You can literally there's no end to it. It's the only way to explain it. There's no end. If you can't figure out how to keep yourself busy with disc golf, there's always something new. You master the backhand, all right, let's try the forehand. I just started throwing forehand comfortably in rounds, where now I can actually push a driver out there. I'm not, you know, swooping and going way left. There used to be just, you know, little stable putters and stuff like that. Now I actually have a forehand that I'm comfortable playing with, which again gave me more confidence in round to say, hey, you know, I'm now more of a threat in the sense of I'm not one-sided. Got a little bit of everything, but it took a long freaking time to even get there. You know, it took everything. Once you master the forehand, then you've got thumbers and scoobers and grenades and you name it. Like you're never gonna reach the end. It's not only as possible. I bet you if you ask Gannon Burr, there's something he sucks at. There's something, you know, because why? Because it's never ending. It's just you know, it's the game we all love and play every day, no matter how bad we play. We play all the time.
The game may be never ending, but at some point this interview has to end.
Yeah.
But before we go, we would like to hit you with some of our world famous lightning round questions that we ask all of our new guests. Quick answers. What comes to your mind first? You ready? What is your softball question? What is your favorite course?
Niagara Falls right now. Niagara Falls, Fireman's Park. It's my home course. I think it's beautiful. It has a little bit of everything.
Great answer. And what is the hardest course that you've ever played?
Score wise, it would have been the Forest City Open. I don't know what it's called. It's in London. River's Edge.
Yep, St. Julian's.
Yeah, that one sucked for me. I lost 3 discs on one hole.
Oh, that's not. I've been there. That hurts.
What is it, like 1,200 feet or something, that hole?
Yeah, that
On
super
a
long one down
wide
next
fairway
to the
with
river.
water on your left and OB on your right. Yeah, that one.
Yep. Yeah, I know it. I know it well.
Yeah.
Yes. What is one sport to watch or play other than disc golf? What are you choosing?
Football all day.
And what song makes you instantly turn up the volume to max?
That's a good one. Probably Spice Up Your Life by Spice Girls.
Fantastic choice. Totally didn't expect that. Absolutely love it. All the boys and the girl.
I couldn't come up with anything.
We'll take it. We will take it.
All right.
100%. We will take it. You're on a road trip, maybe doing a disc golf tourney. What is your favorite place to stop for food on the road trip? You see that sign up ahead? What do you hope it says?
Arby's, probably.
Yes. Yes, that is the correct answer.
Yeah, that's my comfort food, man.
I think
Arby's
that's
makes me feel warm inside.
I think that's the first time we've heard that. I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I think maybe.
It's either
Only
that
'cause
or if
you
I can find a Five Guys, man. I'm a burger guy.
Only because
Hell
you
yeah.
haven't
Arby's-
asked me.
Oh, did you
Let's
say
go.
Arby's? Okay.
Arby's.
Hey,
Let's go.
who doesn't like a good curly fry, man? I actually have an Arby's, and there's not many of them. They're hard to find. I have an Arby's right behind my house.
Sean is
We're
jealous.
living the dream, my friend.
And how about movies? What movie never gets old no matter how many times you watch it?
I've probably watched Blood In, Blood Out 1,000 times, and it's a 3.5-hour movie.
I've never
Sit-
heard of that movie.
It's an old gangster movie, like Vatos Locos, gangbangers go to jail. It's pretty crazy.
The most important question,
Yep.
if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that one's an easy. No, it's not. Probably invisibility.
The first time that has been said on the show.
The knowledge that you could gain just being a fly on the wall
Mhm.
is insane. You could then, and I mean, you're crossing the lines no matter what. When you pick one of those super abilities, like I'm sure guys have been like X-ray vision, like whatever, right? But you're crossing lines. You're invading privacy for sure. But you have the ability to now get the answers to any question. You want to know what the presidents are talking about. You want to know, like, you could be in anywhere in any situation. Not to mention, travel freely wherever you want to go. You could get anywhere. I think what you could accomplish with the gift of invisibility is infinite.
That is probably the most nuanced and well-rounded answer to that question I've heard also. I mean, they're just like, yeah, super strength. They're like, yeah, I want to fly. You're like, no, I have an answer, and it's the right one, and here's why.
Yeah.
Chris, man, it has been an
Yes.
absolute pleasure having you on. Before we let you go, we want to turn the floor over to you. Do you have any shout-outs, any final comments, sponsors, where people can find you, anything like that? The floor is all yours.
Thank you. Facebook, Chris Kotyk. We've got Primal Disc Golf on there, as well as Primaldiscgolf.ca. If you want to order anything, feel free to reach out to me on my personal page. If you have any questions about disc golf, you want, between lessons, you want a custom order, or you just want a buddy to show you the ropes, someone to make you feel comfortable and help you enter into the sport of disc golf, I'm here for you. I want to shout out my wife, Jackie Kotyk, because she's been there to support me my whole life. We've been together. We'll be 23 years this year in April. So, and my kids for always keeping me motivated to do better in life. Other than that, all the close friends and people in the community that have been there to support me on this journey and hopefully can continue to keep supporting me and, help me along my way through this roller coaster of disc golf and life.
Well said, my friend.
And you guys, I want to thank you guys for reaching out to me and having me on the show. Had a great time.
This old us, no problem. Chris, it has been an absolute pleasure, as I said. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be right back on Miss Mando.
Welcome back to Missed Mando. Thank you so much once again to Chris for coming on and joining the show. Unfortunately, I had to miss that one, but Sean and Galen holding down the fort as they always do. We got a stellar team of journalists here on Miss Mando, and I say that journalist term not sarcastically at all. Yeah, no quotation marks whatsoever. But we are going to move on now to some Ontario news and no general news to get into. But oh my goodness, there are a lot of registrations to talk about. So Shawnee G, let's throw it on over to you, my friend.
Oh, there's so many. We are now so deep into tournament registration season. There are so many in Ontario. We have 13 to cover this week. It's probably a record. I don't know that we're going to top that the entire year. This is bulk season right now. So, but let's start it off with the important one, the event that I think everybody has been waiting for, especially our listener. That is the announcement of the rescheduled Missed Mando Mayhem number 5. This is going down at Autonomy Disc Golf, which is at Escape Maze out in Peterborough, happening April 4th. As always, it is bring your own partner doubles, $20 a person. We're raising money. This time, again, for the ODSA Little Heisers Tour, which is a series of free sanctioned tournaments for junior players that happen all over the province. I think there's more than a dozen this year. These cost a fair bit of money to run, and so we're going to try and raise some money to help offset those costs and contribute to raising the sport from the bottom up. As usual, we will have cash payouts for the top 3 in each division. We will have 3 divisions: pro, am, and female division. And you will be able to buy mulligans, of course. A food donation will also get you a mulligan. And there will also be a couple other ways that you can help contribute. We're going to have a big, nice, like hour and a half or so registration period when you show up. And you can, if you want, for $5, get a 10-minute laser tag game on site. Escape Maze is really cool. They've got escape rooms, they've got laser tag, they do game nights, they've got disc golf. They got the whole package. Run by Angelica, who you'll probably know from other tournaments. And she's yes. Eliza and Peggy are not available that weekend, unfortunately. However, Angelica will be there. And so not only can you do 10-minute laser tag for $5, where they're donating all of that proceeds to the Little Heisers Tour. If you book an escape room the same day, they will donate 50% of your escape room fee to Little Heisers as well. I'm hoping we raise just a boatload of money for this event. And so pre-registration is required and greatly preferred. You can do that online right now on UDisc. You can find the event there, or you can find the event on Disc Golf Scene, and it'll give you a nice link over to UDisc. Now, we know that for the people west of Toronto, it's a little bit farther of a drive, so we're going to start this one at noon instead of our usual 10-ish. It's only one round, so there's lots of time to get out there, make a day of it, check out Escape Maze, and play a great event, and give me all your money for mulligans. It should be a lot of fun. And
Tobin Eisen has already come out and laid down the gauntlet too, and started talking smack, saying that him and Oz as their team are gonna come back and reclaim another title. Which of course we will remind Tobin that he wasn't able to do in our last Missed Mando Mayhem. For anybody that may have missed the recap of that, you go back and listen to that episode. So he's already laid down the gauntlet and said that they're coming for war, and they're taking no prisoners. They're gunning for our always what's the word I'm looking for? Prestigious trophy that we give out from this event. They're looking to take one. So sign up and make sure that they don't, because Sean is sick and tired of giving trophies to Tobin and Oz.
I was very happy to have handed out the We Beat Tobin and Oz trophy at the last Mayhem event.
A great addition.
There probably won't be one at this one. It's already been claimed. But yes, for the love of God, please come out and beat those two guys. They're just far too good on a far too stupid layout. I'm excited to design this course. I've only played the course once, so I don't have it designed in my mind, if it will.
I've never even been there yet.
But yeah, we'll go out there,
Yeah.
we'll design a course, we'll film a stupid video, and we will see you on April 4th. It's going to be a great time. Next on the list, there's these TD Academy events, where players, you can sign up and learn how to run a sanctioned tournament, and then run a sanctioned tournament. It's called the TD Academy, and there are 3 of these events coming up, that are registrations opening in the next 2 weeks. The first one is the Melted Fairway Classic, going down at Fireman's on April 12th. General registration opens on March 13th at 8 p.m. and the women's registration is already open by the time you are listening to this. I mean, it's Fireman's. It's going to be a good time. Very much looking forward to that. The second one, the second TD Academy stop will be at Tottenham at TNT. Not a course that has a lot of tournaments out there, so this is kind of a rare one where you can play that event, or that course in tournament mode. That'd be pretty fun. That's going down May 30th, and registration for that opens on March 19th. And the third one is the Sudbury Smash and Dash, going down at Lions Club on June 13th. Registration for that opens on March 12th. Get in a Blueberry Brawl practice round, I guess. Next, we got a big one here. This is an important one. OCC Tour Stop, ODSA Major, the Muskoka Open is coming to Wolf Tracks and Limberlost, the redesigned Limberlost, I should note. That's happening on May 9th and 10th. And by the time this episode drops, registration will have been open. So hopefully you're already on that drop.
Technically,
Next.
if you're listening to this when this comes out at 7 o'clock, you'll have a little less than an hour before general registration opens at 8 p.m. on Thursday, March 12th. So if you're listening to this as it's premiering, first of all, thank you, hello, hi, welcome, and second of all, at 8 p.m. So coming up soon, registration opens. Get on it.
That depends on how long it took us to interview Chris, of
That's
course.
true. Oh yeah, that's true. This is after
That
the
interview went 3
Dang it.
hours. You're already too late.
Recording things out of order, and it's messing with me.
Our next tournament is the Kawartha Lakes CWE, hosted by Disky Chicks. It's going down to Ennismore Waterfront Park on May 9th, and registration for that opens on March 14th. Next is the Heights Slopeside Sling. This is a new course north of Barrie at the Heights of Horseshoe Private Ski Resort. It is an OCC Tour stop going down May 23rd and 24th. I think it's 1 round per day, 2 days. And registration for that opens on March 13th. Bronte and the Beast is back. Another OCC Tour stop. The Beast it is the hardest layout that they have. It's a punishing tournament, not really geared for the novices, unless you want to, play the hardest layout that Bronte has. That's going down June 6th and 7th, and registration for that opens March 18th. It absolutely will sell out. Next is the Lucky Lines Open. I think this is the second Lucky Lines Open. It's going down in Almont, Ontario, which is out near Ottawa. That's happening June 20th and 21st, depending on which division you play. It will depend on which day you play. Registration for that opens March 26th. And if you want another chance to play out at Autonomy, in addition to, of course, the Miss Mando Mayhem 5, the Autonomy Open is going down on June 27th. That's another OCC tour stop, and registration for that opens on March 23rd. There's a CWE going down, I think, for the first time at Paris at Green Lane. Registration opens on March 21st for that event, going down on June 20th. There's another CWE happening up in South River on June 24th, and registration for that also opens on March 23rd. March 23rd is going to be a crazy day for registration. Like, you're going to have to do like registration triage, because there's I mean, 1, 2, 3. There's like 3 or 4 opening on March 23rd. It's going to be chaos on disc golf scene. Good luck. And the last event that we're going to mention this week is the Lake Ontario Open. This is the third Lou, I think. I think the second or the third. I played it last year. It was a heck of a lot of fun. It's at least the second, but I thought there was one the year before. I thought this might be the third, but I don't know. Any event, it's happening on June 18th and 19th. Registration for that opens on March 23rd. And as always, that happens at Haute Goat, Cedar Creek, and Newcastle, the 3 preeminent courses in that neck of the woods east of Toronto. A super great tournament, a lot of fun, fantastic courses. And man, that is somehow their new events didn't get added while I was talking. But that's going to do it for the next 2 weeks of registrations. 13 events. Get in on all of them, especially the Miss Mando Mayhem 5. Now, that one doesn't, of course, never sells out. We will never sell it out. But pre-registration is required and greatly appreciated so we can get a sense of the numbers. So, but that's it for me. Robbie, let's go back to you for some tournament recaps.
Yeah, before we move off the registration, I just wanted to say that Dreammaker is open now. There is some space. A lot of or a bunch of divisions are already waitlisted, but you can also jump on the wait list. And once the division caps are lifted, then you are likely to get in. There's 144 out of 192 spots filled with 35 on the wait list. So once the wait list opens, everybody should get off and get into that. And that's one of course, my favorite tournaments of the year. I've talked about that a bunch. So highly recommend that. And then also just wanted to quickly shout out the Foxwood Open crew who have added a couple other, I'll say side events to the Foxwood Open weekend. First being a clinic with none other than friend of the pod and 5-time FPO world champion, Elaine King, which was a big success when that happened out at Canadian Nationals last year. So definitely recommend doing that. And they also announced a Tracy Boards Crokinole tournament at the Foxwood Open as well, which are of course always mega popular when they're held out at either the RIP or Canadian Nationals. Those events out at Haute Goat, they've been majorly popular. So I'm sure this one will be as well. So get a partner and sign up for that Crokinole tournament as well. And just shout out to the Foxwood crew for bringing some extracurricular activities to that tournament as well. That weekend is going to be a blast. But yes, let's move on over to some tournament recaps and finally starting to recap some tournaments here in Ontario. Tournament season is back and it kicked off last weekend with the Kings Forest Open, which saw 166 players over 2 days heading to Hamilton for the C-tier event. Starting in FPO, Ontario legend and friend of the pod, Colleen McInnes, got off to a hot start with a 970 rated -3 in round 1 to take a 8-stroke lead over Alyssa Saunders, and she kept her foot on the gas in round 2, extending her lead into a 13-stroke win, with Alyssa finishing in second and Kat Johnson rounding out the podium in third. In MPO, Marty Hendel might just be unbeatable on this course. He birdied his first 9 holes in a row, 12 of his first 13, and combined that by being the only person in the field with 0 bogeys for an amazing 1060 rated -12 in round 1 to take a 6-stroke lead over Kalen Schatt, his doubles partner, when him and Marty absolutely crushed this course at the doubles event over the winter. So both of them clearly very comfortable on this course. But despite taking his only bogey of the event in round 2, Marty was able to collect 2 eagles in the final round en route to a 1030 rated -10 to extend his lead into an 11-stroke win, continuing his dominance at this property. I think with the doubles event, that's now at least 3 straight tournament wins for Marty out at Kings Forest. In MP40, Dylan Reese and Craig Ireland were tied at the top after round 1, following matching 992 rated -6s to sit 3 strokes clear of Justin Murphy in 3rd place. But in round 2, Craig unfortunately went the wrong way on the leaderboard, while Dylan once again tied for the division hot round and was able to cruise to a 7-stroke win, with Daryl Nantis in 2nd and Justin Murphy finishing on the podium in 3rd. Over in the top amateur divisions, Stephanie Hall took an 8-stroke lead in FA1 over Lauren Williams following a 868 rated +11 in round 1 and extended that into a 15-stroke win with an 872 rated +4 in the final round. In MA1, it was a logjam at the top of the leaderboard after round 1, with Trent Dunford and Michael Wilson tied at -3, and Alex Patton, Alejandro Diaz-Yana, Daniel Bolton, and Sam Lawson all only 1 stroke behind at -2. But in the final round, it was Dan Bolton who was able to shoot the division hot round, a 993 rated -5 to take down the win by 3 strokes over Alex Patton in 2nd and Jason Day in 3rd. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any ace shout outs, any thoughts you got from the event, anything you got on your mind, my friend. Let's go to you.
We do have an ace shout out. Craig Ireland bagging hole 15 from the mids in round 1, 267-foot par 3. Super sick. Well done there. Man, what an event. This was, as always, it is such a super fun event. Great course. The course was in fantastic shape. The weather was beautiful on Saturday morning, went into rain, and then it got really windy with no rain in the afternoon. It was chaos. It was super fun to just photograph and watch people suffer. Haha, I'm a sicko. It was man, it was a great event. As always, Oz puts on a great show, and people had a lot of fun. Kudos. I mean, how do you say kudos to Martin Hendel? Because he's Marty Hendel. Absolutely, just smoked the field. That course, he just has that thing dialed in so well. And Kalen Schatt, like, he and Marty have like this like great battle going on. Marty won it by 6 this time, but Kalen was doing absolutely fantastic as well. Yeah, like you just love to see this event pop up on the calendar. I was bummed I didn't get to play it this year, but I had a great time out there, and so did all the players.
Yes, this is always one that people look forward to now, and I believe it's 3rd year now that that Kings Forest Open has been running. I was just trying to go back to see the results from previous years, to see who had won, and of course I remember Marty. He won this event last year as well, and when I brought up the player page for 2024. I wasn't, because I went to my profile to click on it. I wasn't on the same day as the pros, so I'm trying to quickly scoot over to see if Marty was also in the field in 2024. He was not. So yeah, so three straight wins then with the doubles. He's won this event back-to-back years, the doubles with Kalen over the winter. So Marty is obviously very comfortable on this course, and I hear there was a lot of changes this year. To the course. So lots to adapt to, and not just the same old, but of course the property and knowing that Oz is the overseer of the outline out there. You know it's going to be a good time, and lots of good photos taken. I've seen a lot of social media posts with a certain Sean Galbraith being tagged as the photographer. So kind of bummed I wasn't out there to get any action shots. Plus, the weather actually turned out to be better than anybody thought was going to happen on that day. So definitely a little bit of FOMO going on from my end. But as I mentioned in the intro, winter thaw can't come soon enough. Just unfortunate that I didn't get as many rounds at King's Forest this winter, because I do believe now that that officially makes the course closed for the season now, I believe, right, Sean? It's usually the tournament is the last weekend that it's open. So yeah, so unfortunate to see that tournament go away. What did you got?
I found another ace.
Oh,
There were two aces. I didn't look deep into the scorecards enough, and I apologize. I almost missed it. That would have been
geez.
journalistically horrifying. Richard Amillard in MA3
Oh, hell yeah.
he bagged the Sean Galbraith Memorial Ace on hole 8.
Oh, heck yeah.
The shorts, the one that I grabbed, was it 2 years ago, I think? Or was it last year? Last year, I think. Whenever it was, I
That's a fun
bagged
play to
this
get.
ace. That's such a nice one. Little shorty over the river with
Yeah.
OB beyond. It's really, really a nice little ace. So shout out to Richard. Very, very well done there. I hope you got that ace pot and that there was an ace pot. I don't even know if there was. I assume there was.
I'm
Yeah, I
sure
really
there
like the
was.
course layout changes. There were some pretty fun looking changes out there, and the course seemed to be moving pretty well. Not too many backups from what I saw, and yeah, it was good. It was good.
A lot of people out and happy to finally be competing again, I'm sure. And we're only just getting into it now. It's like basically every weekend now, through the rest of the summer. We're gonna have events to talk about, including of course the Mist Mando Mayhem coming up, which everybody should be the most excited for. But Shawnee G, anything else on King's Forest Open from you, my friend? Alrighty. Let's move on. We will briefly talk about the Disc Golf Pro Tour officially kicking off its 2026 season, doing so on February 27th through March 1st in Brooksville, Florida, with the Supreme Flight Open at the increasingly impressive Olympia Disc Golf Course. In the FPO division, Owen Scoggins took home a commanding win from the chase card, shooting a 1023 rated -9 in the final round to come from 3 strokes back and win by 4 strokes over Holland Hanley and Taylor Chosek, who tied for second. The win was Owen's third in 2026 already, going along with 2 A-tier wins to start her season. And actually, this past weekend, the weekend after Supreme Flight Open, she took down another A-tier, a 12-stroke win over Jordan Linz at Throwdown the Mountain, giving her a perfect 4-0 record with 3 A-tiers and a Pro Tour win in 2026 so far. Absolutely insane. It's the year of the dog. The dog. Over in MPO for the first time in 581 days, it was Ricky Wysocki standing at the top of the podium, doing just enough in the first 2 rounds to hold off a charging Gannon Burr, who shot an unbelievable 1095 rated -13 in the final round, a new course record at Olympus, but it wasn't enough as Ricky takes down the 1-stroke win, getting back on track, back into the winners column. Could that maybe be a sign of things to come for Ricky in 2026? We shall see. But let's throw it on over to you, Shawnee G. You've seen this course in person, which I have not. What did you think of the Supreme Flight Open?
This is absolutely one of the best courses on tour, and the changes that they made make it even better. The teeing areas look so good with all of the like stands and the raised tee pads and the seating area, and the whole redesigns I thought played really nice. Um, it was the one of the best courses, continues to get even better, and it's amazing to think that we almost didn't have this course at all, were it not for Macbeth and Dylan Cease, Toronto Blue Jay Dylan Cease, for buying it and saving it. The thing's truly a treasure. First, shout out to Aaron Gossage. The Goose bagged an ace on hole 7. This is a hole that I think is going to be aced a fair bit by the pros. Henna Blomroos aced it at All Stars 3 years ago when we were at it, which was pretty sick. And the weekend after the Supreme Flight Open, Eagle McMahon bagged an ace as well for Throw Down the Mountain, which yeah, that's pretty cool. So I think it wasn't the hole that frankly I thought would be getting as many aces. I thought hole 6 might be getting a few more or any at all. It was like this little downhill. It was kind of a fake island shot. Really cool. And man, we have another shout out to friend of the show, Chandler Kramer. He got in on the Monday qualifier, was on lead card, and ended up finished tied for 5th. What a performance he had. Super great to see him come out and just absolutely shred. Well done there. The Canadians in the field. Did we talk about the Canadians in the field? There were 3. We had friends of the show, Sophia Dunica finishing 7th. Fantastic. Well done. Rebecca Dawn, friend of the show, was 1 stroke off of 10th, finished tied for 11th. Really good showing there. And Karen Martel from Quebec are making her Pro Tour debut on the Pro Tour at a course like Olympus. Wow. What a showing. Tied for 39th. Really well done, Karen. We're going to have to get her on the show eventually as well. The event was incredible. It was fantastic to watch. Absolutely love this event. And if my heart wasn't at the MVP Open, it would probably be down at Olympus for the Supreme Flight.
Yeah, every year I've increasingly, well, I guess over the last now, what, three years? It was chess.com and now 2 straight years of Supreme Flight. I've really enjoyed this tournament, and it's a great starting place for the tour down in Florida. The pros seem to really enjoy starting down in Florida. They get a couple, pretty solid A tiers leading up to the start of it to kind of as like a little preseason type of thing for them before the actual pro tour season kicks off. So it all just lines up perfectly. I'm gonna have to actually make it down there at some point to check out this course in person, because it truly is gorgeous to watch on TV. And of course, big shout out to the Canadians. Huge top 10 to start the season for Sophia, and great performance from Rebecca. If not for a really unfortunate end of round 1, she would have been sitting in the lead after the first round, was sitting in the lead and was all over coverage until an unfortunate, I think it was a triple bogey followed by, was it back-to-back triples? It was two not great scores back to back. Dropped her down, unfortunately, but stayed in, battled back, and did eventually get her revenge on hole 18 as well, which was awesome to see. Just missing out on a top 10. I wonder how many times we've had 2 Canadians in the top 10 at a Elite Series event before. I'll have to try and do some research on that. And yeah, huge shout out to Karen for her debut on the Pro Tour. Of course, probably didn't end the way that she would like, but round one had a solid performance, shooting a 937 rated +2, shooting above her rating there. And then rounds 2 and 3 weren't as good, but definitely something to build off of after only your first Pro Tour event. Definitely plenty of room to grow. So hopefully we'll see more Karen at Pro Tour events through the season. Shawnee G, anything else that you would like to add from the Supreme Flight Open?
Nope.
No. All right. Well, before we sign off, I will just say that coming up this weekend, we've got the Big Easy Open, and we've seen a little bit of coverage now and seen these new John Houck Teepads on coverage a little bit. So, Shawnee G, what are your first initial thoughts from these big Teepads? For those that haven't seen these yet, they're these massive, massive concrete Teepads with they're not like square or rectangle. They like are almost like a funnel sort of shape, like triangular. Yeah, they're very interesting. Maybe we can get a photo and put it up over the video so people can see it if they're watching. But what was your initial thought when you saw them, Sean?
They are comically enormous.
They're huge.
They're just so big. I like the idea of having a little more space for level run up. The I like the smaller ones better than the big ones. Big ones are just so absolutely enormous. But again, this is a pro layout, and so they presumably need a little more space on the run up. If you're James Conrading it or whatever.
I was just about to say, did you see that James Conrad actually still started off the back of it? He was still on the grass.
Come on. Dude.
Yeah, only like a step, only like one step, but he still technically did not start on the actual concrete.
Absolutely ridiculous. Apparently Paul Macbeth hates them, and he says he's going to call every foot fault that comes up, i.e. he's going to do the job that the rules require him to do.
Right.
So, okay. They're like a gymnastic, like a basketball court in a high school gym with all these lines painted everywhere.
Colorful lines are weird.
Such. Yeah. I'm very curious to see how well they, overall how well they age, because like they're in a swamp. Like this course is a swamp, and we'll see how they age. Probably better than turf pads or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they play, and we'll see it this weekend.
Yeah, definitely interested to see how they play this weekend. And overall, from what I've seen, I watched the Ezra and Goose practice round videos. It looks like an awesome course. It looks like it's going to be very hard. And from everything that we've heard from other pros doing practice rounds, they agree with that. It's like one of the hardest courses they've ever played. So I'm very intrigued. That looks absolutely stunning. Like the amount of they had John Houck on the upshot, and hearing about the work that went in, the amount of grass that they put in through the fairways, and you can tell on video it looks gorgeous out there. So very excited to watch that go down this weekend, and good luck to everybody out there competing, the Canadians in the field. Do you know off the top of your head?
I think there are none.
Sophia and Rebecca aren't
yeah, I think they're both home.
Interesting. Of course, I don't have it up right in front of me right now to actually.
When I was doing my fantasy draft picks, I had a look. I didn't see either of their names on there.
Let's see if I can very quickly pull this up in the background. But if not, then good luck to everybody else in the field. But especially if there are some Canadians in the field. Oh my goodness, it's only bringing up Monday qualifier. Why do you make this so hard for me, Disc Golf Pro Tour, to actually find your events? Here we go. All right, here we go. Any Canadians? Any Canadians? None in MPO, none in FPO. All right. No Canadians in the field. All right, so some others to watch in the field then. Good luck to everybody out there, but also good luck to anybody competing. We've got the Toronto Open coming up more locally here to us, and some other tournaments across Canada as well, including what might be my favorite tournament name that I've read so far this year, the Canadian Cobra Chicken Classic, going down in Kamloops, BC. It's a C tier going down out there. So good luck to everybody competing out there. Because when I saw that name on
Played it
PDJ,
last
I was
year.
like, "You played that last year."
I played that last year. I
That
did
is
absolutely horrifying. I think I shot 2 sub 800 rounds. It was so bad. It
Oh
was so much fun
boy.
though. Yeah, I love MacArthur Island. It's a great course.
I still need to play some BC courses at some point. I've still haven't played any disc golf further west than Thunder Bay, Ontario, and that is a travesty that will, unfortunately, probably be taken care of this year when I go out to Canadian Nationals. But that's a little bit down the line. We're gonna sign off now, and that's gonna do it for this episode of Missed Mando. Good luck to everybody out playing some disc golf this coming weekend, whether in a tournament or just out casually having fun. Go enjoy that good weather because we're here, baby. Disc golf season is here and we are excited to be back. But until the next episode, we will see ya on the course.